Hello BookTube! Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth and this is going to be my March Mystery Madness TBR. But first, before I get into that, I want to say thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. So glad that you hopped on board. I'm assuming that a lot of my newer subscribers are here because you heard about March Mystery Madness and you are thinking about participating, or maybe you are planning to participate. And if so, I am really looking forward to seeing your TBR videos and hearing about all the mysteries that you read in the month of March. And I want to say thank you to Troi Towel, my co-host, for agreeing to do this with me and shouting it out to all of his subscribers so that we can get as many people involved as possible. I also want to say thank you so much to Patty from I Smell Books and Janie from the Bookworm's Buddy for giving me shout outs. Janie from the Bookworm's Buddy, she's also hosting a challenge for March called Why Have I Not Read These Books? So please check out her challenge, because if you have some mysteries that have been sitting around on your shelves that you're thinking, why have I not read these books, then you can do March Mystery Madness and Why Have I Not Read These Books. So welcome everyone. For whatever reason you're here, I'm just glad you are. Mysteries is one of those things that not a lot of people on BookTube talk about. There are a few, and so I'm hoping we can band together and just have a lot of fun talking about a genre that we love. We've also started a Goodreads group called Mystery Madness, and that will just be a group that's open all year long. And then hopefully this March Mystery Madness challenge will be something that we can do every year in March to promote the reading of mysteries. Of course, those of us who love mysteries can enjoy reading mysteries all year long and have a lot of fun doing it. So I'm really excited. Now, I have already done an announcement video telling what all the challenges are, and those are also all written out in Troi Towel form on his blog, so I will link that down below. But I want to show you now what I'm going to be reading for the month of March. Since I've been planning this for quite a while, I have got quite a large stack of books here that I'm going to attempt to read. In addition to the books for my challenges, I am challenging myself to read about 20 books this month, because I have several books that don't really fit the challenges that I want to read. And because I want to give myself the luxury of mood reading, I have picked out actually about 30 books, and after my challenge books, and then the rest of them I want to be able to pick and choose throughout the month. So at the end of the month I will then let you know which of these books I actually did read. So there's only one book this month I'm planning to read that's not a mystery, and that is because it is for my book club. I have it on Playaway. This is Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. This was first published in a series of articles in the New Yorker back in 1962, and then it was published in book form shortly after that. This book is nonfiction, and this book created the outcry that it took to get DDT banned, and then it spurred the making of a lot of environmental laws that we have today. So I think this is going to be a really interesting read. So if you've ever read this or heard of this, let me know, and let me know what you thought about it. And at the end of the month, I'll let you know what I thought about it. Challenge number 1 is to read a food, craft, or hobby mystery. Now, the one I chose is the second book in the Fresh Baked Mystery series by Olivia J. Washburn. This one is called Murder by the Slice. This series is about a group of retired school teachers who all live together in one house, and I really enjoyed the first one. My sister is a retired school teacher, so I sent her my copy of the first one, and of course she took it and ran with it, and I think she's read most of these by now. And I just found my own copy of the second one not too long ago, and I'm going to be reading this for the first challenge. Then the next book in that series is one that I might read after I finish my other 8 challenges, because like I said, I want to read about 20 books this month. That is called The Christmas Cookie Killer. Again, it's from the same series by Olivia J. Washburn. The second challenge is to read a mystery whose main character or detective is a person of color. I've already been reading the #1 Ladies Detective Agency series by Alexander McCall Smith, and this is number 6, called In the Company of Cheerful Ladies. And these take place in Africa, and they're very cute and very fun. I would consider these a cozy mystery as well, and I've really enjoyed these a lot. So this is on audio, on CD, so I'll be listening to this in my kitchen. Challenge number 3 is to read one of 3 Edgar Allan Poe short stories, or read an Agatha Christie. And so I figured, since I'm one of the leaders of this challenge, I should probably try to read all of the above. So I have found an Agatha Christie book on cassette, which I can listen to in my car. This is called 13 at Dinner, and this is one from the Hercule Poirot series, and I have read at least one other from that series called Murder on the Orient Express, and I enjoyed that one, and so I'm looking forward to listening to this one. This book is not much to look at, but I'll open it up so you can see the title. It says Masterpieces of Mystery by Edgar Allan Poe, the world's popular classics. And this book I got from our library, and I could not find this edition of Poe's work on Goodreads. It's just not there. But the 3 short stories that are listed in this challenge are all here, and all 3 of them are all together are about 100 pages. So I will definitely read at least one of those, and perhaps all 3 if I can get to them. And the names of those short stories are listed down below. So again, the challenge is to read one or the other, either an Agatha Christie or one of these Poe short stories to meet that challenge. Challenge number 4 is to read true crime. I picked an Anne Rule book that my library had on Playaway. This is called Green River Running Red, and I've never read any Anne Rule. I don't even know if I've read any true crime. I don't think I have read any since I've been an adult. I remember as a teenager seeing some true crime magazines and reading a little bit out of those, but I don't think I've ever read a whole book of true crime. This particular one says it took place in 1982. So that's an interesting year for me because that's the year that I graduated from high school. This crime took place in the Green River near Seattle, Washington. And hopefully it's not too gritty. I'm more of a cozy type person if you haven't figured that out by now. So we'll see how this is. I got tickled at Patty from I Smell Books because her true crime novel, she said she was only going to read it when her husband was home and it wasn't dark outside. So I think that's probably good advice when it comes to true crime. And the next challenge is to read a paranormal mystery. Well, I have several of these Aunt Dimity books. In fact, I did a video not too long ago about 7 female authors that I have collected but have never read. The Aunt Dimity series is one of those groups of books. So I am for sure going to read Aunt Dimity's Death, which is the first in this series. And then, depending on how I like that and what mood I'm in, I'm going to possibly tackle the next 3. Number 2 is Aunt Dimity and the Duke. And then Aunt Dimity's Good Deed, and Aunt Dimity Digs In. The next challenge is to read a pet mystery. Well, my husband and I have been listening to the Cat Who series for quite a while now, and we are on book 22, which is The Cat Who Robbed a Bank. We have primarily listened to these on audio, and we are almost done with this series. There's not too many more, and I will be sad when it's over because these have been very enjoyable. Now, for my book that is set in another part of the world from where I live, I have chosen The Secret Speech by Tom Rob Smith. Now, you may have heard me talk about Child 44 by Tom Rob Smith. I read that for book club in January, and The Secret Speech is the second in this trilogy. I don't know if I'm going to like this or not. Child 44 really blew me away, but the first half of it I really hated. So I don't know how I'm going to like this. But my husband has now finished Child 44, so he will probably listen to this as well. And he remembered that there was a movie. So he has checked this out from the library, and we will try to get to this very soon. And the last of our 8 challenges is to read a book that has an amateur or kid detective. And I picked the first of the Happy Hollisters series, which, if you have been on my channel for a while, I have mentioned before that this was the first series that I ever remember reading. My 3rd grade teacher had some of these books in her classroom, and since I have been an adult, I have found a few randomly here and there at book sales and used bookstores. And so when my daughter was about 3rd or 4th grade, I pulled them out and she read a couple of them and enjoyed them. I think at that time I read some snippets of one of them, but I have not actually sat down and reread any of these books since the 3rd grade. And this is the first one. It's just called The Happy Hollisters, and so I'm going to read this. This was in my most recent book haul, and I thought before I took this to the Little Free Library I would read this. This is Cam Jansen and the Mystery of the Gold Coins. I know that my youngest daughter Katie had to read a Cam Jansen book for Kids Book Club several years ago, and at the time she read it, I didn't read it. And I've been curious to know what this mystery series is about. In fact, speaking about kids books, this doesn't have anything to do with the challenges, but since I'm trying to read only mysteries this month, I also found this in my last book haul. And my oldest daughter Emily, that has autism, she has really only the attention span of storybooks. So I found this called The Mystery of the Pirate Ghost by Jeffrey Hayes, and I thought this would be fun to read with her, and that way she'll get a little taste of mystery madness during the month of March as well. Just a reminder, if you want to combine challenges, then and still meet the bonus challenge of reading 8 books, then for the rest of your 8 books, depending on how many challenges you combine, for the rest of your 8 books, you can read whatever else you want. My goal is to read 20 books. So let me show you some of the other books that I am definitely planning to read in March, and then a few others that I might read. Also for the month of March, I want to be able to check off some other books off of my different challenge lists that I'm doing. One of the challenges is the Around the World in 52 Books, so I'm trying to keep with the mystery theme for the books that I read this month for that challenge. The first of the March challenges for the Around the World in 52 Books is to read a book that is mentioned in another book. In February, I was listening to The Martian on audio, and one of the books that was mentioned in that book was Evil Under the Sun by Agatha Christie. And I was hoping that my library would have it on audio, but they didn't. I have ordered the paper copy, and so that is perhaps what I will read to meet that challenge. The next challenge is to read a book by an author that you should have read by now. Again, back to my video about the 7 authors I've collected but have never read. So besides Nancy Atherton, another of the authors on that list was Elizabeth Lynn Casey, and I should have read these by now because my sister recommended them to me at least a couple of years ago. The first one is So Deadly. The next one is Death Threads, then Pinned for Murder, and Deadly Notions. These are from the Southern Sewing Circle mystery series. I definitely want to try to get to the first 4 of these in the month of March. The next challenge for March on the Around the World in 52 Books is to read a book from the Rory Gilmore Challenge. There are not a lot of mysteries on that list of like 330 books, but I did notice that Encyclopedia Brown Boy Detective was on the list. So I decided, since that was a mystery and it actually fits one of the challenges, that I would go ahead and get this from the library. Again, this is going to be really quick. It's only a little over 100 pages. I've never read any Encyclopedia Brown books. The next challenge on that list is to read a children's classic. So I thought if I have time, I will go ahead and pick up a Nancy Drew book. So this is number 8 in the Nancy Drew series. Of course, I read this as a child. In more recent years, I have listened to the first 5 on audio, and I probably haven't read this one since I was pretty young. And I had it on my shelf, and so I thought I would pick this one up. And then the 5th one for March on that challenge is Reader's Choice. So I already mentioned that I was going to be reading 4 of these, so I can easily count one of these for that challenge. But I have several others that I could also read. I have this series, the Someday Quilts mystery series by Claire O'Donoghue. These are donut shop mysteries. So the first one is Glazed Murder, Fatally Frosted, and Sinister Sprinkles. Another series I now have all 4 of. This is the first in a series called Do It Yourself Mysteries, and this first one is called Fatal Fixer Upper. I have 3 books in this series, but I did not have the first one until just recently. This is called Organize Your Corpses, and the sleuth in this series is a home organizer. So this has organizing tips included, so that is right up my alley. I am really looking forward to reading these. And then this is something I saw on Goodreads, and I just found the first one just the other day. This is the first in a quilting mystery series. This one is called Forget Me Not, and it's by Mary Marks. It's been on my Goodreads TBR, but I had not actually seen one until just the other day. I got this at the used bookstore. I haven't even shown this in a haul yet. And Joanne Fluke has a new book coming out. I am completely caught up with the Hannah Swenson Murder She Baked series, except for the brand new one called Wedding Cake Murder, which comes out this month. In fact, Joanne Fluke is making an appearance February 29th, and I just don't see how I can go. My husband has to work, and I really can't afford to buy a ticket for my daughter, who I can't leave at home by herself, but she really wouldn't get anything out of it. And the ticket price doesn't even include a book. So I've decided not to go, although I would love to go and see Joanne Fluke in person, possibly get her to autograph a book. So I'm just going to wait and get the book from my library whenever I can get it on audio. It's called Wedding Cake Murder, and that is one book that I will listen to this month if I can get the book. Then also what I'm holding up is the Joanne Fluke's Lake Eden Cookbook. I got this for Christmas a couple of years ago, and this has the recipes from probably the first 12 or more books. Just realized when I was looking through it the other day that it actually has little story vignettes in between the recipes, and I didn't realize that. So I need to read this, and perhaps I will bake something out of this book, and perhaps there will be a video challenge coming up for something along those lines later on in the month, so stay tuned. And then this is another book that I will probably try to read this month. This was in my most recent haul. It's called The Mystery at Disney World. Well, you know, I'm right here in Central Florida, right here by Disney, and I saw this at a book sale, and I thought, well, maybe it was a whole series about Disney, but it's actually not. It's pretty cool though. This is number 11 in a series of real kids who go to real places, and there are actual photographs in here. From what I have seen, just by looking on Goodreads and everything, and from looking through this book, it's kind of an educational series because these kids go to all these different real places, and then the writer, Carol Marsh, who I don't know if she's their mother or what. I don't know what her relationship is to them, but she's written these books, and she puts them in mysteries that in the settings of the places that they have visited, and they're places all over the country. So Disney World just happens to be the one that I found, and it caught my eye because it's Disney. Now, two books that I definitely want to get to are the first two books in the Patchwork Mysteries series. These are put out by Guidepost, and a friend of mine from church gave me the first 14 of these. I thought there was only 14 in the series, but when I looked them up on Goodreads, there's actually twice that many, and so I only have 14 of them, but these are something that I think my sister would definitely like. So my goal is to read all 14 of these by Thanksgiving, so that when we make a trip to Oklahoma for Thanksgiving, I will be able to give them to her, because it's really too much to mail. I figured if I read 2 a month, I will get them done in plenty of time for Thanksgiving. These are all by different authors. This one is called Family Patterns by Kristen Eckhart. And the second one is called Time to Share. This is by Joanne Brown. Now, I'm also doing the Ultimate Reading Challenge, and right now, at the end of February, I have read about 9 books for that challenge, and there's a total of 41 books this year. So I figure I need to read 3 to 4 books each month in order to stay on top of that challenge. So some of the books that I have picked for this challenge will meet some of the challenges for the Ultimate Reading Challenge. One of the challenges is to read a murder mystery. So really, pretty much any of these will do for that one. I haven't chosen exactly which one specifically. So another one is to read a book that has a blue cover, and Aunt Dimity's Death has a blue cover. And then another one is to read a book set in a culture that you're not familiar with. So I am choosing The Secret Speech for that one because it's set in Russia. So of course I'm not going to read all of these books this month. I will definitely read the books that meet the 8 March Mystery Madness challenges, and then the other books that I need to read to meet some of the other challenges that I'm doing. And then since my goal is to read at least 20 books, I just figured I would pull out several mysteries that I was interested in reading, and whatever I'm in the mood to read, I will pick up and read. Another audiobook that I will probably get to is called Dead Wrong by J.A. Jance. This, I believe, is number 12 in the Joanna Brady series that my husband and I have been listening to. In fact, he has already started this one. It looks like this is yet a different narrator than the ones we are used to. So we'll see if I like this one any better than the one for Exit Wounds, which was the last one I listened to. Now, in my car, I have a cassette player. My CD player is broken, so and until I get around to getting it fixed, I am limited to listening to cassettes or the radio in my car. You may recall that I have said that the Friends of the Library at my local library are no longer carrying cassettes in the book sales area anymore, now that I'm not the chairman, and so they have agreed to let me have whatever cassettes are donated. So one of those is The Blessing Way by Tony Hillerman. Now, I've never read any Tony Hillerman, but I understand that he has some Native American themed mysteries, I believe Navajo, and so that is very interesting to me. This is just about 6.5 hours, and of course I will be spending a lot more than that in my car for the month, so I picked out a few others that I don't know if I will enjoy, but it will at least be an exposure to some other mysteries that I would not normally have picked up. So this one is read by Burt Reynolds, and this is called Just Cause. I believe they also made a movie of this. This is by John Katzenbach. Here's one by Stuart Woods called Choke. And this one is called Single and Single by John Le Carre. And you might think this sounds like a romance, but I looked on the back, and Single and Single is actually the name of a legal firm. So what are you reading for March Mystery Madness? And you know, even if you don't want to do these 8 challenges, but you've got a couple of mysteries laying around that you might get to this month, let me know in the comments what you'd like to read. Also, if you tweet about them, use the hashtag March Mystery Madness. I know it's kind of long, but it works. So definitely, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll leave those links down below, and definitely join our our Goodreads group and let us know what you're reading. So stay tuned to my channel. I am planning some video challenges. I've got 3 in mind right now. I'll upload one of them next weekend, and probably each weekend. You can do them anytime during the month. It's just for fun. We don't really have any prizes planned, but of course you get bragging rights, and we will definitely, shout out your videos. It's just going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So I guess that's all I have for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.